We have a bevy of new information and some old information that is coming to light about the Subnautica 2 situation. Let's get right into this. Apparently, IGN was told in an earlier statement that the delay for the game was due to there not being enough content, and this decision was already in discussion before the three leads were let go. And the three leads are insisting the game was ready to go out, but as we have now learned, they stood to inherit 90% of that $250 million, according to Krafton. There's a bunch of comments that people have made that are worthwhile to consider. I don't know who's right or wrong here, but honestly, what a bizarre business decision to promise that amount of money on that promise. Maybe Charlie didn't do anything wrong, but no person is going to resist trying to push out a subpar product that isn't ready when they're staring $250 million in the face. If Subnautica 2 wasn't ready, it was going to be pushed out regardless just to get the money. Nobody wins in this situation, well, except for the person with lots of money, I guess. Yeah, they do win. Then someone pointed out it's kind of like what's going down with the Disco Elysium studio, which ended up breaking into 3 different studios, each claimed to make the spiritual successor to Disco Elysium. People are saying they don't know what to believe here. That being said, I would love to see if it's just those 3 asking for money and screwing over the rest of the team, or if they're including the team in the lawsuit in some respect. They cannot include the team in the lawsuit as they cannot represent the team as they've been removed from all positions of representation. The team would need to then join the lawsuit as a plaintiff. And this comment here really hits it in the head. Krafton is a massive company with an assuredly sizable legal team. I simply refuse to believe that there is anything that could be remotely construed as liable in their statement, considering how explicitly clear their statement is. Now, this is the statement. It's kind of hard to get this pulled up on Krafton's website. I guess I accidentally cookied my way out of it. So we're looking at the Verge's version of it. It's the same. And we're not going to go over the whole statement, just some important parts. The leadership was set to get 90% of the earnings themselves. Specifically, in addition to the initial $500 million purchase price, we allocated approximately 90% of up to $250 million earnout compensation to the 3 executives. What that means is Krafton was planning to give 90% of whatever payout to the 3 leads. If, as they're claiming, they were going to then give it to other people, that would be solely up to them. But Krafton's not lying here. They're saying, hey, of the $250 million, well, up to, we were going to give 90% to the 3 leads, with the expectation they would demonstrate leadership and active involvement in the development of Subnautica 2. However, regrettably, the former leadership abandoned their responsibilities entrusted to them. Subnautica 2 was originally planned for an early access launch in early 2024, but the timeline has since been significantly delayed. Krafton made multiple requests of Charlie and Max. Strangely enough, the 3rd lead is not really mentioned in this statement, to resume their roles as game director and technical director respectively, but both declined to do so. In particular, following the failure of Moonbreaker, Krafton asked Charlie to devote himself to the development of Subnautica 2. However, instead of participating in the game's development, he chose to focus on his personal film project. Keep in mind, Krafton is a multi-million-dollar, if not approaching billion-dollar company. If they're saying that, they have the legal proof to back that up. I highly doubt they're so stupid that they would make a fake statement like that that would result in an easily lost lawsuit for them. Krafton believes that the absence of core leadership has resulted in repeated confusion, direction, and significant delays in the overall project schedule. The current early access version also falls short in terms of content volume, which we can see in the trailer, as the trailer only shows like 2 areas. And we all know how bare bones the Below Zero early access launched into. We are deeply disappointed by the former leadership's conduct, and above all, we feel a profound sense of betrayal by their failure to honor the trust placed in them by our fans. All right, I understand corporatees. Let me translate all this for you. Because later on, they are going to say they're going to pay out the rest of the devs. Translation, we're going to pay out the devs, but the leadership failed to meet their obligations, thus we don't have to pay them squat. And then here we get down to the part where they are saying they will pay the employees. Krafton commits to its promises in rewarding employees. Additional, Krafton has committed to fair and equitable compensation for all remaining Unknown World employees who have continuously and tirelessly contributed to Subnautica's development. We believe that the dedication and effort of this team are at the very heart of Subnautica's ongoing evolution, and we reaffirm our commitment to provide the rewards they were promised. Fans will always be at the center of every decision we make at Krafton. Cap. Moving forward, we promise transparent communication and continued efforts to sustainably develop and expand the beloved Subnautica 2 universe. You guys have probably noticed that they use the term fair and equitable, and you're probably wondering, okay, what does that mean? There was a law firm in recent news that paid out millions in bonuses, and it was based on how long the employees had been at the law firm. Like, the biggest person got like several 100,000, and then that person had been there like for 40 years or something like that. And there was a person who had just joined last week who got like $50. That is likely what we're about to see at Unkonwn Worlds. If you have been there since the buyout, you will get a significant larger portion of the bonus than if you just joined last week. But if you are a member of the studio, you will get a bonus of some kind. That's what that basically means. And we hop over here to the statement from the three leads. I'm going to skip over the cap right here. We filed a lawsuit against Krafton. The details should eventually become at least mostly public. You all deserve the full story. Suing a multi-billion-dollar company in a painful, public, and possibly protracted way was certainly not on my bucket list. But this needs to be made right. Subnautica has been my life's work, and I would never willingly abandon it or the amazing team that has poured their hearts into it. See, this is why I don't believe them. It is very smart to not divulge all the information in your lawsuit until your lawyer tells you to do so, but you can divulge what you are roughly suing for. Unpaid bonuses, defamation. What I believe is going on behind the scenes is Krafton will pay out the developers who are still at the studio, but the three leads ain't getting squat. They didn't do their job. They continuously were asked to probably make changes to the game. They refused to. And they were let go. So Krafton is going to argue, we don't have to pay them because they failed to meet X, Y, and Z conditions in the contract for the bonus. And they're going to claim, no, we did make X, Y, and Z conditions in the contract for our bonus. Thus, Krafton has to pay out our bonus. This has nothing to do with the other developers getting screwed over. This lawsuit is chiefly going to be about them getting their money. That they have worded it in such a way does open them up to liability, depending on South Korean's law or whatever nation's law is governing this lawsuit. Because with this lawsuit and how they are wording it, it damages Krafton's reputation, and Krafton could turn around and then seek damages for the loss in revenue from their damaging of their reputation. These devs might, at the end of this, come out owing Krafton money. Keep that in mind. We'll have to see how this all plays out. There could be another 11th hour revelation. We did not know that the developers weren't doing their job. Or so Krafton claims. But again, Krafton's not going to claim this against three people they gave millions of dollars to who could actually fight back against defamation. So I'm inclined to believe it. We could get like another subsequent revelation of that tier from the other side, though at this point, I just straight doubt it. As for the earnout, the ideal that Max, Ted, and I wanted to keep all of it for ourselves is totally untrue. That's not what they said. Krafton said they allocated give you 90%, and if you so chose to distribute that 90% to other people, would be entirely your decision. I'm in this industry because I love it. Pretty sure you're making movies now. Not for the riches. Historically, we've always shared our profits with the team and did the same when we sold the studio. You can be damn sure we'll continue with the earn-out bonus as well. They'll deserve it for all their incredible work trying to get this great game into your hands. Well, Krafton already said they're going to pay them. What this looks like is the 3 ousted leads. They didn't do their job. They were let go. Someone new was put in charge. And they want their money, and they're trying to moral grandstand to claim that, oh, we're fighting for developers who are already going to get their bonus. Now, would they have actually given some of their payout to the developers? I don't know. I have no reason to not give them the benefit of the doubt, but equally, they're already kind of being shady about this, so maybe not. Because they could be honest, say, hey, yeah, we were going to get 90% of the payout, and we were going to then redistribute part of that payout to the rest of the studio like we've done before. But they're not saying that, which kind of gives me red flags that we're dealing with liars. Or, at the very least, manipulators. But let me know what you think and down in the comments. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.